London, Portobello Road, November 16th, 1984. It was 2:30 p.m. when 15-year-old Emma Sullivan knelt beside her mother's 1955 Bexon piano, tears clinging to her cheeks and a trembling cardboard sign in her hand. She'd written the price, 150, knowing it was far too little. Her mother, Margaret, stood beside her, exhausted and hollow-eyed. "We have no other choice," she said softly. "Either the money or we're on the street tonight." Emma couldn't speak. That piano wasn't just wooden strings. It was the heartbeat of their home, the first instrument her father ever taught her to play. On that very bench, he showed her how to perform Bohemian Rhapsody. But now they were 3 months behind on rent, and their landlord had issued a final warning, $450 by 5 p.m., or everything would be on the curb. The piano, easily worth $2,000, had become their last hope. But time had more power than value. Then from behind them, a man's voice interrupted the drizzle. He wore a leather jacket, had thick black hair, and walked with unmistakable confidence. Margaret turned around and froze. Emma didn't know it yet, but the next 47 minutes would change her life forever. 8 months earlier, everything had been different. In March 1984, Emma's father, Thomas Sullivan, worked 12-hour days at a small music shop in Camden. He repaired pianos. In the evenings, he gave Emma lessons, always saying, "Music may not make you money, but it enriches the soul." She loved those moments. Their bond grew stronger over Queen songs, especially "Love of My Life." "This song feels like a heartbeat," Emma once said. Her father smiled and replied, "Freddie Mercury is one of the rare people who can turn a heartbeat into music." But one Sunday morning, Thomas collapsed on the stairs. He was having trouble breathing. Margaret rushed to him, but he couldn't speak. He clutched his chest and fell to the floor. A heart attack. The ambulance came quickly, but it was too late. Thomas Sullivan was dead at 47. Emma watched her father die, and she would never forget that moment. Her mother's scream, her own silence, and the absence of music in the house. After the funeral, the family's real situation came to light. The music shop had gone bankrupt. The mortgage was behind. The insurance policy had been canceled. Margaret, who hadn't worked in 15 years, suddenly had to support the two of them. She applied everywhere, hospitals, cafes, grocery stores, but doors kept closing. Too old. Too out of date. Emma offered to drop out of school to help. "I can work," she said. Margaret refused. "Your father wanted you to finish your education." But the bills didn't care about wishes. By May, they missed one rent payment. Then June. Then July. The landlord, Mr. Morrison, gave a final deadline. $450 by November 16th. Margaret started cleaning houses until midnight. Emma delivered newspapers before school. Still, they barely earned $200 a month. Rent, electricity, food. It was never enough. Margaret began skipping meals. "I'm not hungry," she'd say, even as her cheeks hollowed and her energy faded. Emma noticed everything. One night, she made a decision. "Mom, we have to sell the piano." Margaret froze. That piano had been her life. A 1955 Bexon, a gift from her own mother. Before marrying Thomas, Margaret had played piano in local cafes. That's how she met him. He came to hear her play. "Your piano playing is magnificent," he told her, "but your smile is even more beautiful." They married 6 months later. Margaret gave up public performances, but never the piano. When Emma was born, she played Queen songs instead of lullabies. Emma's first word was piano. Thomas used to joke, "She'll marry the piano one day." Now that sacred object was on the verge of being sold. They tried antique shops. Most offered $150, some less. "Nobody buys pianos anymore," they said. Margaret was heartbroken. Then Emma had an idea. Portobello Road, tourists, artists, collectors. Maybe someone would appreciate its worth. It was a desperate gamble. On the morning of November 16th, they hauled the piano onto a borrowed van. Neighbors helped. Margaret whispered to it before they left, "Forgive me, Mother." The piano, meant to pass through generations, was now on a London sidewalk. They arrived early. Emma arranged the piano in the cardboard sign. Urgent sale, $150, 1955 Bexon. "This is too low," Emma whispered. It's worth 4 times that. Margaret just looked at her. We need money, not time. The hours passed. People walked by. Some took photos. A few asked questions, but no one made an offer. One man laughed. Is it broken? No, Emma answered. It's perfect. Is it stolen? He muttered, walking off. By 2:30 p.m., Margaret had broken. Crying silently, she covered her face. Emma hugged her tightly. Don't cry, Mom. Please. She was crying too. The street didn't notice. No one stopped. No one cared. But someone did see them. From across the road, beside an antique shop, a man was watching. Freddie Mercury. 1984 had been hard for him too. Queen had released the works, but Freddie felt hollow. The media stalked him. His personal life was splashed across headlines. That morning he told his manager, I need to be alone. He wandered the city aimlessly. Portobello Road was a coincidence, but then he saw Emma and Margaret and the piano. A Beekson, 1955. He loved pianos. He saw Emma's pale face, Margaret's trembling hands, and he saw something he recognized. Despair. The same feeling he'd known when he was a boy, sent alone to boarding school in India. He approached slowly. Hello, is this piano for sale? Margaret looked up, stunned. Emma nodded. 150, she said. Freddie touched the keys. It's beautiful. Why are you selling it? Emma paused, then answered, My father died. We have debts. We're going to lose our home. Freddie nodded gently. I'm sorry. Was your father a musician? He asked. Emma nodded again. He repaired pianos. He taught me to play. Freddie sat down. May I? Margaret gestured silently. Freddie placed his fingers on the keys and began to play Love of My Life. Emma's breath caught in her throat. That was her father's favorite song. Everything faded. Portobello Road became still. The music poured out, full of memory and sorrow and beauty. Margaret cried silently, but not out of pain, out of remembrance. When the song ended, a small crowd had gathered. No one clapped. They just stood still, touched. Freddie stood up. It's a beautiful piano. Your father took good care of it. Then he reached into his wallet. He pulled out $500. This is for you, he said. I'm not buying the piano. I'm giving it. Margaret stood. We can't accept this. Freddie raised a hand. This isn't charity. It's one musician helping another. Then he pulled out a checkbook, wrote $1,000. This is for your debts. Please don't sell the piano. Pass it on one day. Emma stared, speechless. Who are you? Freddie hesitated, then softly said, Freddie Mercury. The world seemed to stop. Margaret sat down again, stunned. Emma's jaw dropped. Freddie Mercury, her father's idol, had just played her piano, had just saved them. Before leaving, Freddie handed her a card. My piano teacher. She's expecting you. Free lessons. Emma stammered. But I'm not ready. Freddie smiled. Not yet, but you will be. Why? She asked. Why are you helping us? Freddie looked at her, eyes steady. Because I was once where you are. Someone helped me. Now it's my turn. Then he walked away, leather jacket fading into the London crowd. Emma trained hard. 3 days a week, hours every night. In February 1985, she performed Love of My Life at her school concert. The auditorium fell silent when she played. At the back of the room, Freddie was there, applauding, smiling. You were magnificent, he told her after. Your father would be proud. What Emma didn't know was that Freddie had done one more thing. He set up an education fund in her name. $25,000. She would receive it when she turned 18. Don't tell her now, he told his lawyer. It'll hurt her pride. Let her earn it first. When Emma turned 18, a letter arrived, a check, and a note. Dear Emma, this money is for your music education. But remember, real education comes from life. Play, learn, share, and one day help someone like you. Freddie. Emma got into the Royal Academy of Music. She studied for 4 years, became a piano teacher, not for the rich, but for those who couldn't afford music. She gave free lessons in poor neighborhoods. Everyone deserves music, she'd say, just like Freddie had said. In 1991, when Freddie died, Emma didn't go to the funeral. That evening, she sat at the same piano. She played Love of My Life and whispered, "Thank you, Freddie. You didn't just give me money, you gave me life." Today, Emma is 56, still teaching, still playing the same Beekson piano in her living room. Now she's teaching her granddaughter. "This piano's so old," the little girl says. Emma smiles. "Yes, but there's a story inside it. I'll tell you someday." And maybe that's the point. On November 16, 1984, Freddie Mercury didn't just give money. He gave hope, a future, a second chance. And he reminded the world of something simple, that real kindness is quiet. It doesn't seek cameras. It just seeks hearts. That piano now sits on display on Portobello Road. Next to it, a small plaque reads, "On this spot, Freddie Mercury gave Emma Sullivan hope." Most people walk by, unaware. But now you know the story, and some stories should never be forgotten. Before we wrap up, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. If this story moved you, hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe to be part of this growing community of dreamers and doers. Your next life-changing story might be just one click away.